The Central Unified School District Board of Trustees meeting for April 14, 2026 is called to order at 5:30 p.m. For purposes of attendance, please let the record reflect that we are missing Trustee Sadhu and Trustee Kirk. Next item is adoption of the agenda. What are the wishes of the board?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Trustee Kirfan. I have a second by Trustee Nandeep Singh. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We now move on to comments from the public on closed session items. Is there any member of the public wishing to address the board on any of the closed session items in person or remotely? You can call 559-276-3150. As a reminder, when we return from closed session, we will immediately proceed to our open session. That is not, we're not going to wait until 7 p.m. to conduct our open session. Do we have any comments on closed session items?
Board President, there's no callers at this time.
Okay, thank you. Hearing no comments, we will adjourn to closed session and return upon the conclusion. Thanks. Okay, so the board reconvenes to open session. Items to report from closed. We had Trustee Sadoo join us at 5:47 p.m. The board took action to deny claim number GHC 0095512 by a 6-0 vote. A motion was made by Vice President Sellers, a second by Trustee Kerfan. The certificated personnel report was approved, 6-0, a motion by Vice President Sellers and a second by Trustee Kerfan. The classified personnel report was also approved, 6-0, a motion by Vice President Sellers and a second by Trustee Harmon Singh. We move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. If I can have Board Vice President Sellers, please lead. Thank you. We now move to our community engagement information. If we can have our interpreters.
Good evening, everyone. If you wish to address the board, call 559-276-3150 or fill out a request form provided on the table near the entrance and submit it to the clerk of the board prior to the meeting. If you wish to speak on an item on the agenda, please do so when that item is called. If you wish to speak on an item not on the agenda, you may speak during the public comment section of the agenda. Si desea dirigirse a la mesa directiva, llame al número 559-276-3150 o complete un formulario de solicitud provisto en la mesa cerca de la entrada y preséntelo al secretario de la mesa directiva antes de la reunión. Se permitirán comentarios públicos relacionados con los temas de la agenda cuando se llame al tema. Los comentarios públicos sobre un tema que no está en la agenda se permitirán durante la sección de comentarios públicos de la agenda. The district welcomes other language speakers to the board meetings. Anyone planning to attend and needing an interpreter for a language other than Spanish should call 559-274-4700, extension 10150. By noon on this Friday preceding the board meeting, or at least 48 hours in advance of the meeting, so arrangements can be made for an interpreter. El distrito da la bienvenida a las personas que hablen otros idiomas a las reuniones de la mesa directiva. Cualquier persona que planifique asistir y necesita un intérprete para un idioma que no sea español, llame al 559-274-4700, extensión 10150, el viernes antes de la reunión y antes del mediodía, o por lo menos 48 horas antes de la reunión para poder hacer los arreglos para la interpretación.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੋਰਡ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਬੋਧਿਤ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ 559-276-3150 ਤੇ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਜਾਂ ਐਂਟਰੀ ਦਰਵਾਜ਼ੇ ਦੇ ਨੇੜੇ ਟੇਬਲ ਤੇ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਗਏ ਇੱਕ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਫਾਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਭਰੋ ਅਤੇ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਬੋਰਡ ਦੇ ਕਲਰਕ ਕੋਲ ਜਮ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰੋ। ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਏਜੰਡੇ ਦੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਤੇ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਏਜੰਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਸ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਦੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਸਾਂਝੇ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਏਜੰਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਤੇ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਏਜੰਡੇ ਦੇ ਜਨਤਕ ਟਿੱਪਣੀ ਸੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਅਜਿਹਾ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਾਡਾ ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹਾ ਬੋਰਡ ਦੀਆਂ ਮੀਟਿੰਗਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਬੋਲਣ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਜੇਕਰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਯੋਜਨਾ ਬਣਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਸਪੈਨਿਸ਼ ਜਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਲਈ ਟਰਾਂਸਲੇਟਰ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਬੋਰਡ ਦੀ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸ਼ੁੱਕਰਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਦੁਪਹਿਰ ਤੱਕ ਜਾਂ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਘੱਟੋ ਘੱਟ 48 ਘੰਟੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ 559 274 4700 ਐਕਸਟੈਂਸ਼ਨ 10 150 ਤੇ ਕਾਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਇੱਕ ਟਰਾਂਸਲੇਟਰ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।
Thank you both. We move on to presentations. Do we have President Laura Bolton for CUTA?
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
All right, so I have a group of positives to share with you. So the first one I wanted to talk about is from elementary, JSK. They had their very first open house, and they had attendance around 200 to 300 people, so they're really proud of that turnout for their first time. And then Central East Library was awarded a $1,000 mini grant from California School Library Association to purchase library books in Spanish and Arabic. I have another one that I want to share, but it hasn't been fully announced yet. But one of our teachers in the district also won a $1,000 grant that they've not been told about yet from California Casualty for athletics. So as soon as they know about it, then I can publicly share the name and the school site, but I'm really excited for them. And then Garza Winter Arts Program, they put on a fantastic season of competition. Their color guard and indoor percussion finished the season with amazing final runs and scored the highest they have all season. A special shout out to their percussion ensemble, who not only won first place in their division, but also met a personal goal by scoring 90 and 1/10 out of 50 competing groups. So only 3 broke 90. And then their wind ensemble won a unanimous superior rating at their last festival. Garza World Language Department held their annual World Language Sing-Off competition, and it was fantastic. They had their Hmong class directed by Nali Si and won first place this year. And then Central High School is about to have their first play, High School Musical, so they're very excited to be putting on their very first theatrical performance. And then one last shout out for our VAPA department. Harvest Elementary, one of our teachers from a different school site attended the play Aladdin there, and she said it was super cute, so she wanted to give a shout out to those kiddos too. And then I have one other thing I wanted to share to give you an example of the collaborative conversations that I have with the district. So this morning I met with our executive team, our assistant superintendents, and I had site rep council yesterday. We've timed our meetings. They're set purposely that way, so it's the day after site rep council. So I can share fresh concerns. And one of the very first things out of my mouth was about smart glasses. And it was kind of eye-opening for everybody in the room, the things that kids and parents are doing with these new devices. And it was important to share because we need to get on top of that. And right now it's very timely with the cell phone policy and technology policies and things that we have that we keep on top of, that this be potentially pushed in as an additional item to be worried about. So I thought I'd share that with you as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Do we have President Aguirre from CSEA, California School Employees Association? No, we do not. Okay. We move on to Superintendent and Board Communications. We'll first hear from our Superintendent, Dr. Marshall.
My report this evening is brief, but there are a few items that I want to share. We will start with, I had a chance over we were at work, but during the spring break, I went out to Fresno City College. I mean, we have a very vibrant dual enrollment program. So So it was really nice to visit with the president, and she took him on a tour and such, and really she talked about how our students do well at the college and about the partnership and how they improve that partnership. So that was a good experience. Then later that afternoon, it was on a Tuesday, I had a chance to go to the Future Leaders of the Valley culminating ceremony. And that's an initiative that's sponsored by Fresno County Office of Education. And 4 of our administrators were recognized at that event, Mark Fowler, Aaron Gunstream, Yang Lee, and Greg Shapirian. They were all recognized and got a nice award and such, so I wanted to recognize them for that. I learned yesterday that Shauna Souza, she's the Central East Activities Director. She was named to the board of the California Association of Directors of Activities for the state. So one of our employees was named to the state board. And then I want to remind everyone about the Employee of the Year celebration at Glacier Point on Thursday. Now, what's interesting about that, this is something a little different, and there's always, we do changes, it's always go take it to the next level. Where we're going to have, it'll be a sit-down dinner, and one thing that's very, I'm excited about is our culinary arts class over at Garza will be catering the food, and we'll be serving and such. So, and they're very excited about that, so I want to share that. All right, looking ahead to the rest of the month, we have a virtual, I'm working with fiscal services. We get a lot of questions about the budget and such, especially at this point in time in California, because we're going through a lot of change as far as declining enrollment and things in a lot of places, not us per se, but across the state. So you get a lot of questions about the budget. So I'll be working with the fiscal department to do a Budget 101 workshop. I was going to do it in person, but we're going to try something a little different and do it virtually, where we can get questions to take in and go through a presentation and answer questions that people might have. Because we get a lot of questions about the budget, so that's coming. Student engagement continues. I mean, I went out to Central East. I think this week I have several schools that I'll be visiting with students. And basically, it's nice to talk with kids because that's the heart of what we do. And that's when you hear about as far as the impact that we're making, it's good to hear it from them. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the last point that I have is that next week, Liddell Elementary School will be recognized at the California Blue Ribbon School Recognition in Anaheim. So that's my last point. That's my report.
Thank you. If they need a representative, I'll make myself available to go to Anaheim.
Okay.
Our student trustees are not present, so we'll move on to board reports. I'll start on the right side. Is there any board member wishing to provide a report? On my left? Hearing none, we'll move on to our next item. Comments from the public. Do we have any comments from members of the public on items not currently on the agenda? Anyone here in person, you can fill out the note card or you can come forward. Those watching remotely, you can provide public comment by calling 559-276-3150. Clerk, go ahead.
I'm going to say our first comment is from Ethan English. Make sure you press the button so it turns bright green. You'll have 3 minutes when you begin.
Yes, you can hand it to our PIO, Jonathan, there, and he will pass it around.
I apologize, I don't have enough. Hopefully there's more. I can print more. Good evening, board members. My name is Ethan English. I'm a student at Central Unified, and I'm here this evening to formally ask about, on behalf of my peers, and on behalf of Spotlight, that this board adopt the revised BEAT Board Policy 61545.3. I've passed some papers for each of you. I'll be brief, but I want to give you some context because I think it matters. Student publications are older than most of us realize. The Dartmouth Gazette, America's oldest student newspaper, was first published in 1799, before California was even a state. Fresno's Highs, the outlet still publishing today, has been around for over 110 years, with copies still preserved from the 1940s and 1950s, and how Clovis School, former the Garas, dates back to 1915 to 1916. Central Unified's roots go back to 1922, with students publishing El Central's yearbooks. When Central Unified when the Central Union High School District was established to serve this county's growing communities. Student journalism has never been a news silly project. Students have been finding ways to write, publish, and be heard for as long as schools exist. I think the PR team is the most structured I can ask for, but no individual, no matter how committed, can substitute for a written policy. A policy does not retire. A policy does not transfer. A policy cannot be overridden by preference or by pressure, or by a single administrator's discretion on a Tuesday afternoon. A policy protects students from decisions made in the moment, and it protects staff from being asked to make those decisions alone. This board has authority that no PR officer or anyone else does not. You can make this permanent. No one else can. Board Policy 61545.3 was last revised on July 23, 2002. It predates smartphones. It predates district-wide publication. It predicts Spotlight. Now, the board is being asked, for me at least, to direct staff to revise Board Policy 6145.3 on behalf of my peers and present a finalized policy by May 3rd. World Press Freedom Day, observed globally since 1993, a day that exists because governments need reminding to keep the promises they've already made. A 23-year-old policy governing student expression deserves no less urgency than that date carries. Central Unified still has an opportunity to compete with it, catch up with its competitors. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next comment is from Dr. Robert Mitchell.
Hopefully you guys can see this. I'll turn it on. One of your former students that wanted me to. And this is 1 minute of.
Hello, my name is Adonis Peterson. I'm a freshman bioethics and political science double major here at Howard University on the pre-law track. I'm originally from Fresno, California, a 2025 graduate of Central East High School. I'm here today to tell you about my experience with the United Negro College from Fresno chapter and the impact they've had on me today. My first experience with the chapter was through chapter president Dr. Robert Mitchell, who came back to my high school, Central, to talk to us young black men about going from Fresno to an HBCU. He listened to our dreams, values, and aspirations, and let us know that anything we wanted was not out of touch. Then, I applied to Howard University and got in that April. I then also applied to the United Negro College for a partnership with Macy's and received a $5,000 award, and I went straight to my tuition. Through the United Negro College for Fresno chapter, I began to see that my dreams are not just realities, but things that I can make tangible. I want to thank the entire chapter, and I hope you guys can continue to make an impact on black students today. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to Superintendent Marshall. I hope you guys got the gist of that. So this has been, after now 13 years of touch and go, 1 year of touch, 12 years of no go. I want to thank you for putting your best foot forward and making sure this got back off the ground this year. So this is what I'm trying to do. These are the students I'm trying to help. Someone mentioned students getting into school with, he said it himself, without that $5,000. Could he have continued? But that's what I'm here doing. 12 years, I could have helped at least 12 more students, if not more. Thank you, Superintendent, for getting this back on track. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. President Correa, I have no other comments from the public at this time.
Thank you. Do we have any callers?
Board President, there's no callers at this time.
Okay. Hearing no further public comment, we move on to our consent agenda. A couple of items that I want to highlight. We have resolution number 2526-46 in recognition of School Bus Driver Appreciation Day, April 28th, 2026. Thank you to all of our bus drivers. Resolution number 2526-47 in recognition of Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day. We have resolution number 2526-48 in recognition of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Resolution number 2526-49 declaring May 2026 as Mental Health Matters Month. Resolution number 2526-50 in recognition of School Nurses Day, May 7th, 2026. Thank you to all of our nurses. Resolution number 2526-51 in recognition of, and I'm going to butcher this, Vaisakhi Sikh Celebration Day? Okay. And that'll conclude our resolution. So if our consent agenda is approved, those are resolutions that we would be approving for the next coming, for this month and next month. What are the wishes of the board on the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by trustee Nandeep Singh. I have a second by trustee Kirfan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 6-0. We move on to our action items. Our first item is elect board members to participate on board subcommittees. So I asked administration to place this item because we do have a new trustee, and so I wanted to make sure that we gave him an opportunity to sit on committees. What I failed to do was to ask administration to bring a list of the committees and where we need members to participate. I know the policy committees. If you are interested in serving on the policy committee, Trustee Kirk and I would love to have you join us.
So there's two different committees. There's the jurisdiction/agency meetings. What is that one overseeing?
Trustee Kirfan?
Thank you, President Carrillo. So Trustee Singh, that's one of the committees. It hasn't met this year, I believe. It has not. Yeah, we meet in May. So that one only meets twice a year. Last year, I was the chair of that subcommittee. It's meant to be a way for us to work with the other government agencies that overlap with Central Unified to make sure we're doing a great job of responding to constituent issues. Main bodies being the City Council, the Board of Supervisors, and those elected members that serve those districts that overlap with Central, as well as our Sheriff's Department and our police departments, because those are the districts that overlap. Am I missing one? And also the City Department and County Department of Public Works, and their code enforcement departments. Okay. Making sure our neighborhoods are clean, safe, and that we're responding to community needs.
Sounds good. No shots to Trustee Singh and Trustee Kirfan, but I'll go with the board bylaws subcommittee.
Okay, and you could serve on both of them if you wanted.
If you have the
They
capacity.
both have vacancies, so if you'd like to serve on both of them, you're welcome to.
I can serve on both. I don't mind.
Okay. Our board bylaws committee meets at 8 a.m. quarterly. Yeah, quarterly, 4 times a year. And Anita can send you the information for our next upcoming meeting. So you want to serve on both?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll move to appoint Trustee Harman Singh to the Board Bylaws Policy Board Engagement Committee and the Jurisdiction Agency Committee.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much, and we'll get you the dates of the upcoming meetings and the information.
Dates are also attached on the item.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Next item is approved furniture purchase. Director Both.
Good evening, Board President Carrillo, Superintendent Dr. Marshall, and board members. The district has completed a furniture assessment that we use to prioritize our sites so we can replace older furniture at our sites. Tonight, we are recommending that we replace the cafeteria tables at El Capitan Middle School and the classroom furniture at Central East High School. The cost of the furniture replacement is approximately $89,260.29 at El Capitan Middle School for the cafeteria tables and $971,282.53 for Central East High School for the classroom furniture. This will be paid out of general fund. The purchase of these items would be done through Meteor Furniture and their Omnia contract number R240111. The administration is recommending the board approve this furniture purchase after I answer any questions the board may have. And again, I'd like to thank the board for putting this straight to action so we can help facilitate the new furniture at the new sites for the beginning of next school year.
Thank you. Yeah, and I wanted to highlight, this item is coming to us directly as action because there's I believe, a sense of urgency to get the furniture purchased, and seeing the only thing that keeps happening with a lot of these purchases is the price keeps going up. So are there any questions or comments from the board? What are the wishes of the board?
Motion to approve.
Okay. I have a motion by Vice President Sellers. I have a second by Trustee Nandeep Singh. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Please let the record reflect that Trustee Kirfan is absent for this vote. Thank you very much. And then we move on to item number 3, adopt resolution number 2526-52, support of the Better Roads, Safe Streets Transportation Measure. Assistant Superintendent Ekbal.
Good evening. Again, this is administration is recommending the board adopt a resolution 2526-52 to support the Better Roads, Safe Street Transportation Measure.
Thank you. Trustee Nandeep Singh, do you want to say a few words?
I'll provide some context about what this is and a little bit why this is extremely important for our district, specifically in Fresno County. So Measure C is a tax based on the whole county. It was last passed, I want to say, around 1986, 87, which was a 40-year tax. That's what sort of financed a lot of our freeways, a lot of our county roads. So what this is this is a continuation of that tax. It's not a new tax. It's not a tax increase. It's a continuation of an existing tax for 30 years. And where I think it's extremely important for Central Unified is our district probably more than most, because we are not linked to a single city. We see the effects of our incomplete neighborhoods every time we go outside, whether it be just across the street, like what we're talking about, missing the sidewalks. The road conditions in our district are absolutely abhorrent. This is effect of a lack of investment. Closer. This is a result of a lack of investment into our district. What this specific version of the measure would do, the Better Roads and Safe Streets, it actually puts more into actual streets and not just state-owned highways, and also puts more specifically, increases the amount around safe schools and building out communities with schools at the center. So that's sort of why this is an extremely important initiative that will be on the November ballot.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? So, go ahead.
No. No questions, but in regards to comment, I do want to echo Trustee Singh Chan's comments about this area's transportation being like historically, underfunded. I grew up taking the bus to Herndon Barstow, to Rio Vista, to Central, at the time from West High School. And I'm really grateful for the transportation that was provided to me by the district. And so if we can, in my opinion, if we can align ourselves with a measure that, we've already been taxed on this for the, I believe it's 86, as you said, since 1986. And if our aligning with this measure helps fund the roads, the sidewalks, the bike lanes that our students use to go to class, I think that is that's very measurable, right? And so for me, I personally read the new proposal change to the Measure C taxes, and I definitely think it's a step towards the direction that we would want to see for this west side. But yeah, just those are my 2 cents.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, thank you for bringing this to our attention, Trustee Nandeep Singh. And I also did some research because I initially was, while I support our bonds, and I'm happy to pay more in taxes to support our schools, I was concerned with the continued taxation and the concern that sometimes our local government fails to properly manage and properly allocate the funding. So I was glad to see that this is not a new tax, but instead it's a reallocation and redesignation of these funds. And so I'm happy to support this. I think what's going to be critical for those that continue to serve and for our district as a whole is that if this is approved by the voters, that we are proactive in making sure that the county is providing us the necessary, and the city as well, the necessary improvements. Because for a long time, I think our administration has not prioritized those relationships, and we've lost opportunities, or at least in making sure that we're vocal and that we're getting the funding to build some of those sidewalks and create safer pathways to our schools and for our students to use. So, go ahead.
I just wanted to add, just quickly onto that point, Trustee Singh, Harman Singh, like with regards to the jurisdictional subcommittee conversation that was just had. That was like one that was like very surprising for me. I think I and Trustee Kirfan, I think PIO Burrows, I think Dr. Marshall was there as well, where our district and the city is looking at each other like, wait, I thought you were supposed to fund this. And that's not a conversation that's ever had in Fresno Unified. They know what each side funds. And so I think to President Carrillo's point, it's for us to build these relationships with our administration directly with the appropriate jurisdiction, whether we're talking about the city, whether we're talking about the county, and for us to be more like, if the voters approve this in November, and this is a $7.4 billion that we have to be active, nobody's going to hand us anything. We have to be the one actually constantly seeking this out and making sure that our community gets what is rightfully their share.
Yeah, and what that means is that we as board members and you all, as you continue to serve, make sure that we're bringing this up to administration and that we're advocating to be at the table like Fresno Unified and some of the other local districts. So with that, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Trustee Nandeep Singh to approve resolution number 2526-52. And a second by Harman Singh. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0 with Trustee Kirfan absent. And now we move on to our information items. Our first item is receive information regarding local control and accountability plan. Director O?
Good evening, members of the board and Dr. Marshall. My name is Joseph O. I'm the new director of state and federal programs. Last time I stood here, I was being affirmed, and now I have the pleasure to prepare my first report for you. So this first report is our LCAP feedback from our parents. And every year, as we make adjustments to our LCAP, we are required to gather parent and community input. And we have gathered input from our parents in two ways. One, we had parent forums where we invited parents on site, and we gathered their parents through small groups and through workshops. And secondly, we gathered parent feedback through surveys. So we'll go over each of those. I wanted to keep them separate, and we'll go into each one separately. The first one is the LCAP forum feedback report. So we had 4 separate meeting days. We had meetings at Rio Vista, Glacier Point, Biola Pershing, and El Capitan, and these were on 4 separate days. This was to allow the greatest variety of parents, making sure that parents had multiple opportunities to attend. Some key themes that showed up, we had a lot of responses, but these were the 5 themes, topics that kept coming up. So 1, there was a strong appreciation for our EL supports. 2, We had a huge desire among our parent community for consistency and equity across school sites. 3, our parents wanted increased communication, transparency, and more education, especially regarding our school systems. 4, parents appreciated and wanted more expanded academic, behavioral, and extracurricular opportunities. And lastly, there was a desire for improved facilities, supervision, and student safety. So our LCAP has 9 goals, and 3 of them are district-wide. So we asked our parents to provide us input specifically on those district-wide goals. Goals 4 through 9 were site-specific, and those were, we gather feedback in a separate way for those. But for goal 1 is our academic achievement goal. And in this, our parents, again, at the parent forums, in person, they had cited some of our strengths. They said our EL resources, for example, our full-time ELD teachers, our EL coaches, and the workshops for LPACs that we have at our sites, those were very appreciated. Parents also appreciated the academic tools such as interventions, our reading labs, our math intervention classes, iReady and Accelerated Reader were some of the programs that were called out. They also liked the idea of professional development for our teachers. They wanted our teachers to have academic training, ongoing academic training. And they felt that a strength was in our pathways, specifically our CTE programs, our dual enrollment, and our early college expansion programs. For student services, our parents felt that a huge strength of Central was our after-school tutoring program, specifically for ELs, teaching fellows, and intercession offerings. So areas of growth or weaknesses for Central Unified, parents noted staffing practices. They requested that we stop hiring non-bilingual aides. Some of our parents also noticed that we have an over-reliance on technology and have requested that we use more balanced, non-technology heavy curriculum. Parents also cited lack of parent education. While they did appreciate the supports in place, they have a lack of understanding of exactly what the intervention programs are. And then communication delays were also cited, especially regarding academics. Instead of waiting 2 weeks, 4 weeks, they wanted more rapid communication from our sites, from teachers and administrators regarding their students' progress. And then this one was called out multiple times. In equity, there are significant variations in quality and offering of courses and programs, especially between our 3 comprehensive high schools. And when it came to goal 1, these were some ideas that parents had that were not specifically listed in our LCAP. They wanted us to hire more bilingual teachers, Punjabi, Hindi, Arabic, Hmong, and more bilingual administrators. They also asked for more dedicated, I know it says office space, but more space in general for our ELs, for EL classrooms, for our EL teachers. And they requested school spirit wear at no cost and more bilingual books in our libraries. They also requested some curricular changes, differentiated assessments, a 0-period or a 7-period day, more field trips, and making learning fun, fun PE in elementary and sports for our younger grades. And for additional support, this came up multiple times as well. They asked for hybrid options on foggy days, or at least a plan for foggy days, earlier interventions at the elementary level, earlier college and career awareness. We have them at the high school, but they wanted them at the middle school level. After-school programs at all sites, specific tutoring or academic support for student athletes who sometimes miss class. So our next goal is goal 2, and this is our student engagement and school climate goal. So our strengths in this here, we have parents cited mental health and counseling supports. Parents also cited support personnel and family outreach liaisons at every sites and aides in each classroom. Our family outreach liaisons were particularly very popular. They were the single most mentioned topic among all our parents. Some of our FOLs and some of our support personnel were called out by name. Nora Sabayas was called out specifically by name in multiple sessions. So a lot of appreciation for our support personnel. Parents also believe that our intervention programs were highly effective, especially restorative justice and PBIS. Weaknesses here, again with staffing, parents believe that unqualified individuals, they specifically cited long-term subs for technical or special education roles, were not as effective as full-time teachers. They also mentioned inconsistent supports, especially for our students with disabilities. Bullying, especially what parents perceived as victim blaming and lack of supervision in certain areas, such as the parking lot or the bathrooms, that was cited. And supervision, again, specifically in those areas. Lack of equity, again, was called out. For example, here it says, not all schools have cross guards. So suggestions from our parents, they asked for more staff for security, to prevent vaping, to prevent bullying. They also asked for more one-on-one conversations from administrators for behavior and mental health. Discipline, parents asked for effective consequences within the Ed Code and anti-bullying campaigns. They also asked for students evaluating teacher performance. Next on the item that they asked for was mental health services, expanding those, especially with regard to anti-bullying. And this next one, student engagement, parents felt that green spaces, so a lot more green areas on our campuses would help for behavior, and also more cultural awareness celebrations throughout the year. And lastly, again, it was called out here, a better plan for foggy days for activities and learning. I had a conversation with one of the parents and asked what they meant by this. They understand that transportation can be difficult and not all students may come to school, but for the students who are on our campuses, having a more concrete plan for what they will do for learning on those days would be really appreciated. Next is goal 3, family engagement and school environment. Parents really appreciated our communication systems. I know that earlier parents had mentioned communication delays, but they do appreciate what we're doing with our systems, parent square notifications, our parent portals, and consistent messaging from our site administrators. Again, family outreach liaisons, our support personnel, were called out, and I want to repeat, multiple parents, more than half our parents mentioned FOLs. And events, parents really appreciated the workshops, the carnivals, and family events, especially when we ask for parent voices. And parents, they do appreciate the efforts that we have made in campus safety. They appreciated the cameras, the visitor registrations, and the intentional efforts that we are doing. Weaknesses, parents cited inequitable suspension practices. They cited contracts that we are outsourcing too much of our services to third parties rather than keeping things in-house. And while parents did cite technology over-reliance on our curriculum, they also cited a lack of one-to-one Chromebook access. Here, not enough parent education with regard to district programs, similar to our intervention programs for academics. And facilities, inconsistent facility conditions. Parents cited that certain areas were unclean. And here, last one is poor food quality. Parents said that there were some foods that they considered unhealthy. So suggestions that parents had to add into our LCAP for facilities, modernizing the older sites and moving classrooms away from noisy cafeterias if possible, and of course, cleaner restrooms. And they asked for more support for FOLs. They cited increasing salaries if possible. This next one was more an interesting idea, adding specialized FOLs, especially for subpopulations such as our Black students, our Arabic students, and for our students with disabilities. Other suggestions included having parent incentives, providing more food and childcare at meetings, and consistent reminders. They also wanted some changes to safety messages. This was also interesting. Instead of telling parents instead of just alerting parents, they asked for what parents can do to help keep their students safe. Lastly, they asked for parent involvement, more training for parents involving systems such as ARIES and portals, and involvement in curricular decisions. They asked for more support for our newcomer EL families and online workshops for parents who can't attend in-person events. And this last section, so goals 1 through 3 were the district goals. This last one was just an opportunity for parents who came in person to offer any other feedback that they had that may not even relate to the goals. And these are some of the things that they had called out. For safety, they really appreciated some of the programs that we have, such as Pivot. They appreciate having the school resource officers on campus. And pathways, after FOLs, this is probably the second thing that was mentioned the most. Continued expansion of trade-based CTE, such as HVAC, auto, electrician. For weakness, there were no specific items. And for suggestions that parents wanted to add, wellness, so strict limits on outside food, sugar, such as Starbucks and energy drinks, and they asked for drug prevention classes. Infrastructure, they asked for a pool, community swimming area, and more playground equipment. And operations, so maybe consider a no phone policy in class, checking backpacks more frequently, and hiring more janitors to keep up with the campus needs. And they asked, lastly, for earlier intervention, AVID, more CTE readiness, starting in middle school and even in elementary. So if we go to the next slide here, these are cross-cutting themes across all our goals. Families prioritize equity and consistency. They called out for equal access to programs. There's also a strong push and strong emphasis on expanding our EL supports. Parents really appreciated the supports we do have, but they want more. And then communication. Parents want clear, timely, and ongoing communication, especially not just with what is going on at school, but with specifics on our intervention programs and our systems. Student safety and supervision, especially in key areas like bullying, is something that parents mentioned. And overall, parents wanted a focus on the whole child rather than just on academics. Okay. So the next part is the LCAP survey feedback. And so this here, so we released it on March 6th, and we gave parents about a month to respond. And we had over 300 responses, 298 in English and 4 in Spanish, none in Punjabi. And last week, we analyzed all the data. So it's going to be the same. We have the 3 goals, and this time we just have strengths and weaknesses, and all the suggestions were folded into these 2 categories. So for strengths, our parents who responded that there is value in our current class studies and core programs. They also really appreciate the career exploration pathways and classes and believe that it's a helpful starting point for students to be exposed to various industries. They also appreciated for college prep resources, especially the counseling regarding eligibility and preparation. And then EL monitoring and engagement was called out as a strength, and parents really, again, appreciated the supports that we do have. And interventions such as basic literacy and for math, that was called out as a strength. When it came to concerns, they mentioned that there is a generation gap in workforce prep. So a lot of our students, because they are of a different generation from our employers, parents had cited some concerns and worries that our students are not graduating with some of the soft skills needed to succeed in the workplace. And so they asked if there is a way that we can help our students with that. They also cited tutoring and interventions. So instead of using general interventions and initiatives, they wanted more targeted supports for at-risk groups. So a more personalized type of education. And limited career pathways, while they really do appreciate the pathways we do have, they would like to see more. Various kinds of industries and other types of opportunities. And lastly, summer engagement. Our current summer school isn't as effective, and summer learning should have more high interest enrichment activities. For goal 2, as a reminder, this is our student engagement and climate. So parents cited that they really appreciated the cultural awareness efforts. They appreciated our intentions regarding social emotional learning. They appreciate our translators, especially when we provide documentations in multiple languages. They appreciated community-based events using school sites so that our parents and students can have more of a connection to our sites. And they appreciate equity-based initiatives, especially for supports like vulnerable populations such as foster youth and low-income students. For weaknesses, when it came to behavior, parents felt that there was a little bit of inconsistency when it came to behavior management. They would like to see more staff buy-in on a consistent standard for behavior. They also mentioned that certain students need to be held more accountable, again, to a set standard that everyone understands and recognizes. And lastly, they felt that there are some gaps in self-advocacy, so there should be more training for our students to self-advocate. Goal 3, as a reminder, this is family engagement in the school and environment. Parents appreciated the safety protocols. They appreciate our digital communications. Again, same thing with Parent Square, our Aries portals. Parents also appreciated teacher and parent relationships. They really appreciated that they could reach out to teachers at any time regarding student performance. They also appreciated our community partnership, ongoing efforts to partner with local groups to support a better school environment. And they really appreciated on-campus family involvement. So there's a huge thirst among our parents to have a connection to our schools and district, and so they really appreciated this. And translation services were called out multiple times. They really acknowledged that the district is doing a lot to help improve access. So areas of growth for Central Unified, parents mentioned reactive communication. Instead of relying on reactive communication for discipline, they asked for more proactive partnerships, so communicating before accidents happen. And then it called out again fragmented safety standards. There's a perceived gap between the district safety goals and what happens in the classroom, and making sure that those are better aligned. And families want to be more aware of expectation when it comes to behavior. Feedback opportunities, parents ask for other methods of providing ongoing input for school environment rather than just through annual surveys. And lastly, barriers to participation for co-curricular activities. A lot of times students are not able to participate because of economics or because of transportation. So those are the feedback from our parents. I want to open the floor for questions.
So before I open the floor, where do we go from here? So I know this is just for information, but yes, maybe what are the next steps as to what you do with the survey or the information, or how is it used as we go forward?
So one of the reasons why we are required to collect parent feedback and community feedback and staff input is so that every year we make adjustments to our LCAP. So we review our spending and expenditures, and then we make changes based on what worked, what didn't work, and of course based on our parent feedback. So we will be working on amending some portions of our LCAP, whether it's our goals or how much we allocate to certain strategies, and that is going to be informed by all of the feedback that our parents gave us.
Thank you. Trustee Sadhu?
Yeah, so first I just wanted to say amazing presentation. Great job. I really like how everything's laid out. There's columns, and I just wanted to review the suggestions. And I kind of wanted to appreciate our administration and the rest of our trustee board, because a lot of the suggestions are things that we are trying to push as well. I just wanted to highlight a few of them just to mention them now that we have a chance to. There's been discussions like hiring more bilingual teachers. We've been doing dual immersion programs, a 7-period day. We're discussing that. A more cultural celebration, awareness days. We just approved a bunch of them today. Modernizing older sites. That's been a major push from this board. And then this one I was going to bring up today, but in a different context. It says strict limits on outside food and sugars. I was going to bring it up in advanced planning. I will again, but I want to know the policy on seniors and their outside lunches, what the policy on that is. And then no phone policies. We had an hour-long discussion last time about that. But we will probably still continue talking about that. But amazing that our community is engaged, and it's so amazing that our trustees get the same feedback from their respective areas and districts, and now we're all coming together as one team. So it's nice. Thank you, Director.
Thank you. Vice President Sellers?
It's short. I was just curious if we knew the total of how many participants we had for the in-person sessions.
We had about 60 families.
60 families?
Yes.
Okay.
Trustee Kerfan?
Thank you, President Creo. Great presentation. Again, echoing previous comments, formatting is very easy to read. I think the community will benefit as well. On page 11, one of the concerns being career pathway integration. This is definitely a great suggestion the community has for us on how to move beyond just, hey, this would be a good career for you, rather than instead going, okay, here's how you can actually take concrete pathways into that. Whose role would that be to implement or guide that conversation for students?
Okay.
So this aligns with the discussion, and I know the board has been very interested in that as well. There's a whole series that starts in elementary school with awareness activities in elementary school, and exploration in middle school, and then preparation in high school that's part of a CTE program, and then integration of the core subjects. So you have an English teacher, a math teacher, and a CTE teacher working together to integrate it across the curriculum. That level of pathway work, we've been talking about possibly a position that would be paid for out of our CTEIG grant with the board, and we'll be bringing a proposal forward for that at the next board meeting. But that would be Ed Services, and we're looking at somebody to really kind of rebuild that whole structure within Central.
So providing, providing job-seeking information, skills, where to apply for these things, that responsibility would then be under a potential new position. No one in the district currently provides that?
No, so actually the college and career counselors or college and career teachers at the high schools, that is part of within their job duties as you go through. But part of what I think is lacking as a system is that consistency with what do we do your junior year, what do we do your sophomore year, what do we do your freshman year, what are those activities, so that there's a scaffolded build that everybody gets, and it's not just necessarily site-specific or site, I don't want to say random because they're working hard, but it's not a district-wide system, and I know the board has been very serious about that equity issue where there's district-wide systems in place.
Yeah, and I think this just highlights something that, I've mentioned on the board as well, creating these systems to prepare students for the next step, whether it's college, going back to, previous skills that may have been lost, where we were preparing students for the pathway on how to apply for, scholarships, how to apply for FAFSA, what the options were for that, and then also, if they're not going to a university, here's how you can apply for a job, the skills you need. If this is your career path that you want to take, here are some options locally that you could go for. Yeah. Thank you. I think the community is highlighting just the common thing that we're looking for is preparing students for the next step once they're graduating, which for some students will be very soon, and we're looking forward to celebrating them.
Trustee Nandip Singh?
Thank you so much for the presentation. I just want to echo, I think, some things my colleagues said, but probably more importantly, what our parents have been saying. I mean, really, they've been giving us this roadmap for the last 5 to 10 years. They have repeatedly said the same thing our CTE pathways are not meeting the needs of where the students are, our language needs, we still have huge gaps. Obviously, they love our FOLs, and thank you, Nora Ceballos, who I know is leaving us soon, but just for the phenomenal jobs done for a very long time in our district. I think these are some of the key pieces for us to be talking about as a board, and really about our own resource allocation. How do we move from disjointed systems that are site-specific to more district-wide, and ensuring equity and opportunities for all of our students, and really fixing a lot of these broken systems that many of us inherited.
Thank you. Again, just echoing what my colleagues have already shared, and thank you for the great presentation. And the FOLs was something that some of us as a board and that this board implemented, and it was in response to the previous 5-6 years of our parents asking for them. And so it takes some time to find money and to create those systems, but we're glad that the parents are using them and are seeing a great benefit. So thank you for the presentation. Thank you very much. And we move on to our next item, receive information regarding Parent Square Inc. contract for district outreach to parents. Our PIO Barrows.
Good evening, Board President Carrillo, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Marshall. Tonight, I am bringing for information a contract for Parent Square. Parent Square is a secure, all-in-one communication platform that keeps parents, teachers, and schools connected through messages, alerts, and updates in real time. Administration is recommending that this item be placed on the April 28th agenda for action, and I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. And we as board members should also have access, so if you don't have an account and you want one, please contact Dr. Marshall and he'll coordinate that. Any questions or comments on this contract? Any objection to having this return under consent? Okay. We'll have this return under consent. Thank you. Next item is receive information regarding Renaissance Learning Contract. Dr. Lopez.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, President Carrillo, and Superintendent Dr. Marshall. Access to books and libraries at home are critical for our community and our students. They give children access, choice, and authentic reading experiences, the three conditions most strongly linked based on research to developing lifelong readers. As part of our ELO 3-year plan we presented to you a little bit ago, we discussed the fact that we want to integrate services, not just during the after-school hours, but during intersessions to ensure that we mitigate learning loss, as well as provide attendance recovery opportunities. What you see attached today is the Renaissance Learning Contract. Currently, we use this in our district. Our students take a STAR test assessment, and it assesses their ability to read. So what we are proposing is providing access to reading material. I'm feeling a little sick, I apologize. Through 14 months. And so starting this month, they would have access to an online library starting at home. What they do is they take assessments, and it allows them to be able to elevate their reading score. We would like to start with them this year to see how that works for our program and to be able to see if we are able to mitigate some of that learning loss.
Thank you. I'm sorry, was there anything else?
Yeah, the total cost is $101,000, and it would be paid out of Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Grufan?
Thank you, President Carrillo. Is this related to our accelerated reader program, STAR assessment?
Yes. So we currently already have a contract with them. What this would do is provide access to the thousands of books that they have accessible. And the great thing about it is that our kids already take that assessment, so that data is already stored. We already have a data sharing agreement with this agency, and it would provide them books at their reading level +1, which shows based on research that helps elevate students' ability to read. It's also accessible through an app, so students can access it through a phone or a device at home.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. I was addicted to taking those AR tests. So when they get these books, are they going to be accessible via their Chromebook, or how will they be able to access these?
Either or, so it could be through a Chromebook, through an iPad, through their phones. We wanted to make it as accessible as possible. Additionally, we are pairing with the TEAC Community Resource Center, so they have opportunities for our kids during the summer to read and take some of these assessments. So it's exciting to collaborate with our partners. If you saw the attachment, we are doing a reading challenge for the summer with our students, and we are thinking of doing the same every quarter to be able to influence some of our kids. We're thinking of possibly buying some vending machines that we kind of saw integrated into McKinley Elementary School, and our kids would be able to get golden coins if they reach a certain reading amount of minutes.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Vice President Sellers?
The library that students will have access to, I think that's great because we don't have a library on this side of town. Is this going to be optional participation, or is this something that would be structured into the curriculum that students are given assignments?
So the great part of the contract is, this was the least expensive that I was able to find, and they're giving us an additional 4 months, so we're getting 14 months rather than 10. And it is accessible through the whole day up until nighttime. I mean, you name it, 24/7. So we are thinking of integrating it into our after-school program as well, to provide opportunities for kids to read just in case there's no access for some reason at home, and also during our intercession time. So we want to do some fun reading challenges.
Okay, so it's optional for students? Okay. Would we be able to receive an update later on as to how many students actually participate?
Oh, yeah, and you
take
guys are going to
advantage of
come to, hopefully, to our event where we get to say, hey, the highest reader for the district. Yeah.
it? Awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions? Any objection to having this return under consent? Okay, we'll have this return as consent at our April 28th board meeting. Item number 4, receive information regarding district-wide security services contract for the 25-26 school year. Director Bauth.
Good evening again, Board President Carrillo, Superintendent Dr. Marshall, and board members. The district's security services were bid out and board approved in 2022. RFP number 2223-580029 was a 5-year agreement with 1 initial year and 4 additional 1-year extensions. CIS was the lowest responsive bidder at the time, and they continue to provide us security services. The estimated cost for the 2026-2027 school year will be is estimated at $204,000, reflecting an approximate 2% increase from the previous year, and this will be paid out of the general fund. This is the we will be going back out to bid next year, as this is the last year and the final extension on this. Administration is recommending this item be placed on the April 28th, 2026 board agenda for action after I answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Any objection to having this go on consent? Okay, this will return under consent. And then the last item is also yours. Receive information regarding change order number 1 for Roosevelt Cafeteria HVAC installation. Good evening again. So during the construction process, unforeseen conditions and district needs may result in changes to the scope of the work or specifications due to unseen conditions and district needs or requirements, resulting in an additional or reduced construction cost that are processed as a change order. Attached is an anonymized description of the change order being submitted and a summary showing the reason for the change order. Staff has reviewed the change order and concluded that the additional duct cleaning is reasonable and necessary to support the efficiency and functionality and longevity of the HVAC system. Change order number 1 increases the total project cost by $4,394 for a total increase of approximately 1.35%. And this project is being funded out of our deferred maintenance funding. Administration is recommending that this item be placed on the April 28th, 2026 board agenda after I answer any questions the board may have. Any questions from the board? Trustee Griffon?
Thank you, President Carrillo. Tangentially related, is this the only HVAC at Roosevelt that is having maintenance issues?
So this one's not maintenance issues. We're replacing this one because it wasn't done during the modernization. As far as any maintenance issues, sorry, at this time I can't tell you, sorry. I can look into it, though.
Thank you.
And we have an existing process, so if employees are experiencing issues, they can submit
a work order.
A work order.
The employee would be me. When I was visited the Roosevelt Carnival last month, I got to tour some of the classrooms they had, and I noticed that there was basically when we were experiencing that heat wave, there were a lot of rooms that were just sweltering. So I just wanted to see if maybe this is like a site-wide issue or just the cafeteria.
This issue that we're talking about is just a cafeteria issue. I'll have to look into it more specifically about Roosevelt, but I can look into it and get back.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm sure students do too.
Okay, any objection to having this return under consent? Okay,
Can I just ask a quick question? Sorry.
one quick question.
Just with regards, Director Bott, like, have we had, because I think I'm very attentive right now to plan issues and architectural issues. Have we ever had issues with New England sheet metal in the past in terms of like leaving out these ducts and stuff like that?
No, so this wasn't a New England sheet metal issue, and even our architect on the project, LEG, I wouldn't even want to say it's really them. I would say this was probably my team. We should have caught that this is the original unit. We are retrofitting it to be still part of the new unit. We should have caught that at the beginning of saying, hey, we need to do this. It is behind a wall. You don't really see it. So, I mean, I don't want to make an excuse, but we should have caught it. And, going forward, that's something we need to keep looking into.
That's a rare answer I've received. I appreciate you and your team taking responsibility.
Any objection to consent? Okay, this will return under consent. And then whatever the other heat issue, if you can just make sure the board gets the answer. My understanding is that was repaired. So maybe if you can confirm that.
I know about one issue, but yeah, let me look into everything and I'll get back to
Okay.
the board. Yes.
Thank you. Advanced planning, a calendar should be attached. And then any additional information and closing comments from the board? Okay, I have Dr. Marshall that has one quick.
Real quick, I want to acknowledge when Dr. Mitchell talked about the resumption of the program, I didn't want to make sure that I acknowledge Mr. Fowler, Mark Fowler, and the Central East staff, because they did the work as far as putting everything together. So I wanted to make sure that they got their accolades as well.
Thank you. Trustee Sadhu?
Yeah, I would like information on the senior outside lunches, off-campus lunches, just like what our policy is. And then I would like to assess student safety off-campus in that, whatever the policy is, and based on that, and maybe have a further discussion.
Okay, we'll have to follow up. Can you guys use your mics, or people can't hear you?
12th grade students being able to go off campus for lunch.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can look at the board policy and the admin regs for that.
Anyone else have any closing comments?
For advanced planning, I had brought up the tree shade coverage in the last meeting. I just want to make sure that will be brought up hopefully soon.
Tree shade coverage.
Like an assessment of like how much of our campuses are being covered by, natural shade. For example, I had the opportunity to go to this Olympics tournament that was being held at Garza, and it's hot. I don't know how our students are faring. I was talking with some of the students there. They said that when it gets really hot, as it gets closer to May, June, they're all crowding towards like the cafeteria area maybe. But would definitely like to see what percentage of our campuses have proper shade coverage, and where are we lacking?
Okay. We will follow up and figure out the appropriate way to bring that back to the board. If there's nothing else, our next board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 28th, beginning at 5:30, and our open session immediately following closed. And then we do need to adjourn back into closed session. But everyone else doesn't need to wait for us. So enjoy the rest of your evening.